So in a nutshell, the way that the 5-Minute Mogul system came about was a few years ago. I was sitting with a coaching client. I was sitting with somebody who wanted me to help them get started, and they paid me a lot of money to sit down. And one of the things that they said, that's actually a question that I get from a lot of people, is if you lost everything, what would you do to start over, right? How would you get started? How would you build up a business from scratch if you had nothing like he had at that point? He was completely broke. He scraped together every penny that he had just to try and get that meeting with me. And what I realized when I was reflecting on that question, and as I've gotten that question, is I have lost everything. I've had huge successes and huge failures, and I've made tons of money and I've lost tons of money, and I have had to start over multiple times. And the interesting thing, or the important thing about understanding that, is I have developed a formula that I have used over and over and over again, and every one of the successes that I've had has followed this same formula. I looked around the industry at a lot of my friends who are making a killing online. Every single one of them, I can literally sit down and show you the progression of them going through the process, going through this same process that I'm going to be taking you through. And what I tried to do was figure out a way to make it so dead simple and easy and fun to grow an internet business, and outline the rules of the game, just like Monopoly is governed by certain rules of play and how it works. And yeah, you can go and start messing with the rules and changing stuff up, but you're not going to get the same result in the end. And so what I've done is I've put together something that follows the same concept of Monopoly. So it makes it so easy for anybody to understand. I'm sure if you're more than 15 years old, you've probably played this game Monopoly. Most likely everybody has, or at least heard of it. But just to give it a high level to help you understand how it corresponds with what the 5-Minute Mogul system is, I want to give you some brief sort of examples of what Monopoly is. So first and foremost, when you compare Monopoly to the 5-Minute Mogul system, this is how you play Monopoly. You're rolling the dice and you're working your way around this game board. And each of these spaces on the game board has something. So if you happen to land on a space, there are a number of different things you can happen, from different chance stuff or paying income tax and different things like that. But the basic premise of the game is that it's a real estate trading game. Each of these colored spaces on the game board is a property. It's a piece of real estate. And I'm using the here and now version of Monopoly instead of the main one, because you're playing with, with dollar bills, if you will, that go up to $500,000 a piece. So for me, it's more real, because we are playing with hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in this internet stuff. So as opposed to the original game where the highest bill is $5,000 and you're buying, massive properties for, $10,000. Well, here, the biggest property, Times Square in New York City, is $4 million. So the way that it works is there's this real estate on the game, and you're rolling the dice trying to make sure and land on different real estate properties that you want to buy. And of course, everybody wants to get these two big ones at the end here, because you have the opportunity to make the most money. But basically, you're going around this game board trying to acquire the real estate properties that are in those spaces. And the reason you want to do it is so that when someone comes behind you and lands on that space, they have to pay you the rent for that space. So for example, the Times Square one, here's the deed, quote unquote, your real estate deed for the Times Square. If someone lands on this space without any stuff on it, I'll explain that in a second, they would have to pay you $500,000 if they land on this space and you happen to own Times Square. They're renting essentially Times Square from you. Now, and it's the same way with each of the spaces on this board. Now, what you do with these spaces once you've owned them is you start to put houses on them. And with two houses, for example, on Times Square, they would, instead of paying you $500,000 because you put the work in to build that space up and put houses on it, now they're going to pay you $6 million when they land on that space. Well, once you've got 4 houses, you can then build big hotels. You put a big hotel on it, and literally with a hotel, the normal rent that you would get from that space goes from $500,000 to $20 million that someone has to pay if you have a hotel and they land on that space. So what does that have anything to do with it? Well, what I've done is I've put together a game board, and I'll just turn the computer to you here so you can see it. But I've designed the 5-Minute Mogul system to work exactly like Monopoly works. It works the exact same way, only it's all digital and it's all online. And so you can see here where just like you've got Go on the Monopoly board, you get started here and you walk through these simple steps and you're clicking on this space. It's as if you were rolling the dice like you would here, but we're taking the dice and we're getting rid of them because there isn't chance involved in this. There is no rolling the dice. You don't have to hope that you land on that space. You literally follow through this process, and the ability that you have to make money is dramatically increased the more that you do, the more that you follow the videos. So you click on this space, a tutorial video loads. You click on this space, a tutorial video loads, and then you click on this and it expands out into different modules showing you literally step by step in a 4-step process exactly what you need to do to get your internet business up and running. And the whole point behind the 5-minute of the 5-Minute Mogul is these are simple things that you can literally follow, log in every day and click on your to-do list and have things that you can do that day in 5 minutes to continue to grow your internet business. Now obviously there's more stuff that you can do, that you can put more time and more effort and grow your business faster, but there are specific things with Facebook and ad purchasing and things like that that you can literally do in a few minutes a day and run a successful internet business. So as you can see, it's designed around this concept of a game board. You click on this space and what you get to do is decide whether you want to participate in either some sort of training, some sort of technology, something that's going to help you. So we can give away free systems, and then you, just like in Monopoly, decide whether you want to buy that space. And once you've bought that space, as you refer people to come play the game through the stuff that we're teaching you how to do, as you refer people and they come in, when they land on that space, they're clicking on your affiliate links for the things that happen there. So it's like you do one of the things in that space, you're putting a house on that space. You do another one, you're putting another, and you're building up the value of that space until the point where you've got everything done and you've got a hotel on here. And now when someone comes behind you, they're paying you for 1 or 2 or 3 different things, whatever it is, depending on what that space is teaching, from getting your autoresponder stuff set up to how to get free traffic with Facebook and other social media stuff to how to get other traffic. For most part, most of the spaces on the game board are designed to have something that you can choose to purchase that space or participate in that space. And if you do so, then the amount of money you could make on that space goes from, like it is with Times Square, $500,000 all the way up to $20 million, for example, that you could earn on this. So that's the concept of the game board. That's where the entire idea of the 5-Minute Mogul system came from. And it's all designed around this simple game board with the simple Monopoly concept. You simply play the game to generate endless leads for your business and tons of cash coming into your pocket, all on autopilot simply by playing the game. You play the game, you get traffic automatically, you get leads automatically. Those leads come around the spaces of the game board. If you have your game board set up properly, you got your hotels on those spaces, then you will make money. End of story. That's the way that the game board is designed to work. Now, one of the things that we have as an opportunity for you is there's actually, this game board is the free game board. We call it the trainee level game board. So you come in, you are now, as you just signed up, a free trainee member. You have the opportunity to become what we call an apprentice member. Now, I could explain everything that the apprentice membership is going to teach you, but all you really need to know is that it takes you through what I call my 7 steps to 6 figures, and then we throw in the 8-figure step, which is the 8th step, and literally takes you through the entire process that I was alluding to a few minutes ago.